The emergency beacon reached the Galactic Assembly before the messenger ship did. That alone caused panic. Priority signals were reserved for extinction events, rogue supernovas, or first contact disasters, not exploration reports. Yet the chamber filled within minutes. 47 civilizations, 47 translation fields humming, 47 delegations wondering what had gone wrong. At the center platform stood Ambassador Cyril of the Outer Survey Coalition, a species famous for calm temperament and diplomatic optimism. Today, he looked broken. His bioluminescent markings were dim. His hands trembled. That frightened everyone more than alert. "Delegates," he began quietly. "We had discovered a new civilization beyond the spiral rim." Murmurs rose. New civilizations meant trade, culture, alliances, opportunity. "Designation?" asked the chair. "They call themselves humans," Cyril said. "Their world is named Earth." Interest spread across the chamber. Military blocks opened data pads. Expansionist empires smiled. Peace coalitions prepared greeting protocols. Only Cyril did not smile. Supreme Marshal Draxus of the Iron Dominion rose from his platform. Armored scales, ceremonial blade, undefeated record. "Outer Rim primitives," he said. "Then this is a resource claim scenario, not an emergency." Several war factions signaled agreement. Cyril shook his head. "No, the word cut clean. They are not a claim opportunity," he said. "They are a catastrophic miscalculation waiting to happen." Laughter followed, brief, dismissive. Draxus folded his arms. "You're afraid of another tool-using species with rockets." Cyril activated the archive wall. Images appeared. Human cities, orbital stations, lunar shipyards, military academies, historical battlefields. "This species," Cyril said, "has been at organized war longer than most of us have had writing." Noise in the chamber dropped. "Many species fought in early eras," said a council scholar. Cyril nodded. "Yes." Then they stopped. He changed the display. Human war timeline stretched unbroken across millennia. Conflict after conflict, doctrine after doctrine, evolution through violence. Documented, studied, taught. They never stopped, Cyril said. Weapons appeared next, from blades, to artillery, to nuclear fire, to orbital strike doctrine, to cyber warfare, to predictive logistics warfare. They turned every technology into a battlefield instrument, Cyril said. Transport becomes weapon. Industry becomes weapon. Information becomes weapon. Draxus leaned forward now, interested, not amused. "History alone is not power," he said. "Primitive brutality does not defeat advanced fleets." Cyril switched displays again. War colleges, strategic modeling labs, simulation engines, doctrine libraries. "They do not merely fight," Cyril said softly. "They study fighting." The chamber quieted fully. "They run simulated wars that never happened," Cyril continued. "They mathematically optimize destruction efficiency. They teach adaptive doctrine. They treat warfare as a research discipline. And yet," said the chair, "they have not destroyed themselves." Cyril exhaled slowly. "That," he said, "is the most dangerous part. New slide, nuclear restraint treaties, rules of engagement law, escalation control systems, civilian protection doctrine. They know how to end wars," Cyril said, "because they nearly ended themselves learning how." Draxus asked a question that mattered. "If attacked, what did they say they would do?" Cyril hesitated. "They said they would not simply defend." Pause. "They said they would dismantle the attacker's entire war capability, everywhere, permanently." Silence. "They smiled when they said it," Cyril added. "Not threat, not rage. Confidence. That disturbed the room more than anger would have. Expansion blocks still voted for reconnaissance conquest evaluation. War empires flagged opportunity. Peace blocks flagged risk. Vote scheduled in 72 hours. Too late, because one empire would not wait. Far from the chamber, in a throne hall carved from volcanic glass, Supreme Warlord Karox of the Dominion watched the council, recording, and laughed. "Predators with rockets," he said. "Prepare the fleet." The Dominion, did not debate threats. It erased them. That was carved into their military code long before they reached the stars. So when Supreme Warlord Kerox finished watching the Council warning about humans, he did not call scientists. He called shipyards. The war chamber beneath the Dominion capital pulsed with red tactical light. A three-dimensional star map rotated above a circular command table, marking conquest routes from the past century. 53 systems conquered, 9 species subjugated, 0 defeats recorded. Generals stood armored and silent. They expected orders, not discussion. Kerox entered last. Massive, scarred, crowned in victory medal. Report on the Rim species. He commanded. Fleet Intelligence Master Orvek stepped forward. Designation: humans. Home system isolated. Limited faster than light reach. Fragmented planetary governance. Mixed technology base. Military? Kerox asked. Ground dominant. Orvek replied. Projectile weapons. Chemical propellants. No shield grid. No capital war fleet detected. Several commanders smirked. Primitive. Easy. General Verwin, older, cautious, did not smile. The council warning was not theatrical, he said. The survey ambassador showed fear responsive consistent with battlefield trauma. Kerox turned slowly. Do you share his fear? I share his uncertainty, Verwin answered carefully. Uncertainty was tolerated. Fear was not. Admiral Crate activated fleet comparison charts. Dominion dreadnoughts dwarfed every detected human vessel. Our smallest strike carrier outguns their entire orbital defense network, Crate said. One volley could sterilize their moon. And their fleet? Kerox asked. Converted civilian hulls, Crate replied. Cargo frames. Industrial drives. Improvised mounts. Laughter moved around the table. Verwin tried once more. Improvised forces fight unpredictably. Kerox answered without looking at him. Unpredictable is not unbeatable. He raised one claw. Record this doctrine update. Rim species classified as expansion target. Decision made. No vote. Operational orders cascaded instantly. Conquest Fleet Theta mobilized. 300 ships. Orbital siege platforms. Atmospheric burners. Carrier wings. Ground occupation barges. Standard world take package. Logistics commanders projected timeline. System collapse expected within 11 days, one said. Occupation complete within 20. Slave labor extraction begins week 4. Routine. Administrative. Boring. Only Verwin still looked troubled. Permission to deploy forward probes first, he requested. Denied, Kerox said. Why? Verwin pressed. Because hesitation teaches enemies courage. Shipyards ignited. Dock rings spun. Hull plates fused. Missile cores loaded. Young officers celebrated. First real campaign in a year. Veterans were quieter. They had seen easy worlds before. Easy worlds sometimes taught hard lessons. Hidden beyond sensor range, a coalition scout vessel recorded everything. Ambassador Cyril watched through magnification feeds as the invasion fleet assembled. His hands tightened. They didn't listen, he whispered. Of course they didn't, his pilot said. Empires don't listen, they announce. Cyril transmitted warning bursts toward the human system. All blocked. Dominion signal jammers blanketed the sector. Earth would receive no alert. Fleet Theta launch in waves. 300 ships folded into hyperspace like sparks blown out by darkness. The Dominion anthem played across command channels. Victory assumed. Outcome scheduled. On the flagship bridge, Admiral Crate reviewed surrender scripts. Offer compliance window, an officer asked. Symbolic only, Crate replied. Primitives value ceremony. He selected template 4. Surrender compliance integration labor allocation. He had used it 12 times. Never failed. General Verwin watched the stars stretch into transit lines. Why uneasy? Crate asked him privately. Verwin answered after a pause. Because the warning did not describe their weapons. What did it describe? Intent. Crate laughed. Intent doesn't stop plasma. Across the fleet, invasion psychology protocols played for troops. Enemy primitive. Enemy disorganized. Enemy technologically inferior. Enemy morale collapsible. Confidence manufacturing. Standard procedure. It worked most of the time. Transit ended at the outer edge of the Sol system. 300 warships emerged like a metal storm. No alarm network detected them. No defense fleet waiting. Only scattered civilian traffic. Crate smiled. "See," he said softly. Fear merchants exaggerate. Sensor officers began routine mapping. Third planet shows orbital infrastructure. One reported. Defensive density? Crate asked. Low. Fleet response. 30 to 40 vessels approaching. Mixed hull types. Bridge laughter. Cargo ships, someone said. Incoming transmission request blinked. Crate approved instantly. A human officer appeared on screen. Calm face. Plain uniform. No visible fear. That was unusual. "This is Admiral Crate of the Dominion," he declared. "You are now under conquest claim. Surrender and preservation will be granted." The human studied him for 2 seconds, then replied, "You are inside protected space without permission. Tone level. Measured. You have 10 minutes to leave." Bridge laughter exploded. Crate leaned closer. "You misunderstand scale." The human answered, "You misunderstand history." Transmission ended. Countdown timer appeared on Dominion screens, injected into their own signal layer. That should not have been possible. "Remove that," Crate ordered. "It's not external," Tech replied. "It's inside our display bus." Silence flickered. Minor, but strange. "Prepare opening strike," Crate said. Demonstration shot. Main plasma cannon charged. Target. Lead human ship. Fire. White energy lanced across space and vanished on impact. No explosion. No debris. Human ship still moving. Bridge noise died instantly. Fire again. Multiple batteries. Same result. Energy absorbed. No effect. Human fleet changed formation. Not defensive. Not retreating. Advancing. Smooth. Coordinated. Unafraid. Verwin whispered, "We made a mistake." Crate answered quietly, "Not yet." He was wrong. The Dominion fleet opened fire like it always did. Overwhelming, synchronized, unstoppable. Thousands of plasma lances tore across the void, the kind of opening strike that had ended civilizations. Every human vessel in the forward line was hit, directly, squarely, repeatedly. And nothing happened. No shield flares. No debris clouds. No thermal bloom. Just impact, absorption, continuation. "They're venting the energy," a Dominion science officer guessed. "Impossible," another replied. "That output would liquefy their hulls." Admiral Crate didn't blink. Target propulsion sections. Increase yield. Second volley. Third. Fourth. Human ships kept advancing. Not charging. Not dodging wildly. Advancing with control vector shifts, like they had already solved the firing solution. "Why aren't they evading?" a gunnery commander asked. General Verwin answered quietly, "Because they don't need to." That was the moment confidence cracked. Then the humans fired. No beam. No missile. No energy signature spike. Just kinetic flashes, almost invisible. "Impact reports," the sensor pit shouted. Dominion destroyer line ruptured. 3 ships, center mass penetrations. Through shields, through armor, through reactor housings. Explosions bloomed late. Internal. How did they bypass shields? Crate demanded. "Not bypassing," science replied. "Overpowering by momentum." Display zoomed. Human weapons were firing dense metal slugs accelerated to relativistic fractions. Not elegant, not advanced looking, just devastating. "At those velocities," the officer whispered, "mass equals catastrophe." Dominion doctrine assumed shield-first warfare. Humans ignored shields entirely. They attacked with raw physics. Shields were tuned for energy, not near light speed matter. Doctrine mismatch. Deadly mismatch. Scatter formation. Crate ordered. Dominion ships spread wide. Human ships split instantly. 3 ship cells, rotating attack geometry. Who taught them fleet triangulation? A commander asked. Verwin answered, they taught themselves. Every time Dominion ships grouped for mutual defense, human cells struck the scene between shield overlaps. Every time Dominion ships isolated to avoid that weakness, human pairs executed cross-axis strikes. Pattern exploitation, real time. Are they running predictive models? Crate asked. No, Sensor replied. They're running behavior models. Difference mattered. They weren't predicting ships. They were predicting decisions. Human comm traffic was intercepted briefly. Short bursts, numeric, matrix-coded. Battle math, not battle chatter. They're calculating us, Verwin said. Dominion carrier wings launched. Thousands of fighters. Swarm doctrine. Numbers overwhelm. Humans answer with environment. Exploding debris fields. Deliberately created kinetic crossfire zones. Fighters shredded by invisible kill corridors. They turned wreckage into a defense grid. A pilot screamed before signal loss. Then came the first human sacrifice strike. A small human vessel accelerated beyond sane thrust limits. Straight toward a Dominion heavy cruiser. Intercept it, Crate ordered. Too fast. Too late. Impact. But not collision. Detonation. Directed nuclear spear. Shape blast. Forward only yield. Cruiser split open like fruit. Bridge silence followed. Not horror. Understanding. They weaponized self-loss, Verwin said. Deliberately. Dominion culture feared death wastefully. Human doctrine used death strategically. Psychological asymmetry widened. Casualty ratio? Crate asked. Dominion losses, 28 ships. Human losses, 3. Bridge temperature dropped. That ratio was impossible against primitives. Human ships rotated damaged vessels out instantly. Fresh ships filled vector gaps within seconds. No hesitation windows. They practice replacement drills, Verwin said. No, they expect loss. Expectation again. Stability through acceptance. Dominion Command tried faint retreat doctrine. Humans did not pursue. They intercepted exit vectors instead. Cutting lanes, not chasing targets. Strategic thinking, not emotional. Admiral, Tactical said, voice shaking, they're hurting us. Crate stared at the map. They were, compressing the fleet into predictable corridors. Funnels. Kill math. Break outward, he ordered. Human ships surged inward instead. Counterintuitive move. Worked. Dominion ships collided. Shield interference. Firing arcs blocked. Humans fired through confusion. Precision shots. Weapon mounts only. Engines only. Bridge arrays only. Disabling, not annihilating. That was new. Why not finish us? An officer asked. Verwin answered, because destruction teaches less than defeat. After 18 minutes, Dominion forward groups were combat ineffective. After 22, carrier groups were gone. After 27, command integrity fractured. Crate stared at his board. He had never seen a battle collapse this cleanly. Not through power. Through understanding. Human transmission opened again. Same captain. Same calm face. You can still leave, he said. No mockery. No rage. Just fact. Crate muted the channel. Pride fought survival. Survival won, barely. Fleet retreat, he ordered. Dominion ships fled to jump range. Humans did not pursue past boundary orbit. They let them go. That unsettled everyone. Predators chase. Guardians hold lines, which were humans. Unclear, uncomfortable. Loss report finalized during retreat. Dominion ships destroyed, 74. Disabled, 19. Human ships destroyed, 5, against a force 8 times smaller. Doctrine collapse confirmed. Verwin recorded the private command note history would quote later, "We did not fight primitives. We fought professionals who trained on their own extinction and learned from it." Back in the Galactic Assembly, Ambassador Cyril received the first battle data burst. He closed his eyes. Too late, he whispered. They chose the lesson. Defeat had never entered the Dominion capital before. Not truly. Loss reports existed, minor, distant, statistical. But never like this. Never with flagship damage. never with mass retreat telemetry, never with human signatures stamped across wreckage logs. When Admiral Crate's crippled armada limped back through home system space, civilian traffic channels fell silent. Victory parades had been prepared. Instead, tugs escorted broken warships. Smoke vented from cracked hulls. Gun decks were dark. The myth of invincibility bled oxygen into vacuum. Supreme Warlord Kerox did not hold a ceremony. He held a reckoning. The war chamber doors sealed. No recorders. No historians. Only commanders. Crate stood in the center ring, armor scorched, pride fractured. "Explain," Kerox said quietly. Quiet was worse than rage. "They are not primitive," Crate answered. "Everything is primitive to someone," Kerox replied. "Explain the defeat." "They weaponize prediction," Crate said. "They design battle like engineering. They adapt in minutes. Their weapons ignore our shield doctrine." Murmurs spread. Doctrine challenge was heresy-level talk. General Verwin stepped forward. "I confirm," he said. "Their tactics were not reactive. They were anticipatory. They studied behavior patterns, not ship classes." Kerox's gaze hardened. "You are telling me," he said slowly, "that thinking defeated steel." "Yes," Verwin answered. Wrong answer politically. Correct answer operationally. Admiral Council demanded escalation. No probes. No test strikes. Total system purge. "Burn their oceans," one commander said. "Crack their moon," another added. "Sterilize the biosphere." Dominion wore logic solved humiliation with excess. Kerox rose. Decision energy filled the room. "Mobilize the Grand Armada." Silence hit. That phrase had not been used in 80 years. Full military activation. 800 capital warships. Total war economy. No reserve. No restraint. Shipyards ignited across 3 systems. Civilian manufacturing halted. Converted to munitions. Fuel moon stripped. Asteroid foundries melted into armor plates. Young officers stopped celebrating. Veterans stopped talking. Grand Armadas did not deploy for conquest. They deployed for correction. Verwin requested private audience. Granted, barely. "You are making them stronger," he said. "How?" Kerox asked. "Every engagement teaches them." "Then we teach them once," Kerox replied. "Overwhelmingly." Verwin exhaled. Overwhelming enemies sometimes learn fastest. Kerox did not answer. Audience ended. Dominion propaganda flooded internal nets. Human threat reframed. Deceptive. Dishonorable. Technically anomalous. Strategically lucky. Morale engineering engaged. It worked on the young, not on the experienced. Meanwhile, Earth did not celebrate victory. It calculated. Human Defense Command reviewed Dominion retreat telemetry frame by frame. Not cheering. Studying. "They'll escalate," Strategic Director Hale said. "Scale projection?" Ask Fleet Marshal Torres. "Triple fleet minimum. No diplomacy window." Consensus. Prepare layer defense, not hero defense. Earth orbit changed shape in 3 weeks. But not visibly. That was the point. Asteroids repositioned slowly, plausibly natural. Mining rigs relocated, actually weapon nodes. Cargo platforms anchored, actually missile farms. Civilian traffic patterns adjusted, actually fire corridors. The solar system became a math problem. Hidden, elegant, deadly. Colonies evacuated non-combatants quietly. Mars cities powered down lights. Looked abandoned. Belt stations switched to autonomous control. Population moved underground. Dominion scouts would see weakness. Humans engineered that perception. New ship classes rolled from hidden yards. Not pretty, purpose-built, armor angled for kinetic recoil. Rail cores enlarged. Heat sinks oversized. Design philosophy simple. When the second shot. Training doctrine changed too. Every crew studied Dominion battle logs. Enemy turn timing. Formation bias. Command delay patterns. They didn't just know the ships. They knew the habits. Torres summarized the plan in 1 sentence. Don't beat their fleet. Break their confidence. Different objective. Higher payoff. Outer system sensors triggered. 800 hyperspace signatures. Grand Armada confirmed. No surprise. Only schedule confirmation. Positions. Hail ordered. No speeches. No music. Just checklists. Dominion fleet exited transit like a wall of metal night. Bigger than the first invasion. Heavier. Angrier. Kerox himself aboard Command Dreadnought. Begin planetary burn sequence. He ordered immediately. No warnings. No speeches. Only annihilation intent. They advanced toward inner orbit. Then space exploded. But not where expected. Not near Earth. In the gaps between Dominion formations. Hidden mine webs, precision-timed, formation-aware. Not random explosives. Vector-calculated detonations. Each blast pushed ships into overlapping kill lanes. Chain reactions without chain blasts. Who mines a star system this fast? A Dominion officer shouted. Veruin answered softly. Engineers who plan before winning. Human fleet emerged, not from Earth, but from shadow vectors. 3 ship cells again. Now hundreds of them. Not improvised anymore. Purpose-built warcraft. Dominion officers felt it instantly. This was not resistance. This was readiness. Advance anyway, Kerox commanded. Momentum doctrine. Always push. They pushed. Right into the second layer. Asteroids moved. Not drifting. Aimed. Mass driver networks activated from disguised mining arrays. Planetary-scale rail fire. Stone became artillery. Ships became targets. Dominion armor cracked under relativistic rock. Mining tools, Veruin whispered. They turned mining tools into siege guns. Human comms open system-wide. Single-line broadcast. Last chance to leave. No taunt. No threat. Offer. Kerox answered with fire. Humans answered with math. The real war began. The Dominion had one belief that had never failed them. If orbit did not break a world, landing would. Ground war was their specialty. Shock troops. Heavy armor. Atmospheric dominance. They conquered planets by planting boots, not just bombs. So when orbital resistance proved costly, Supreme Warlord Kerox issued the next order without hesitation. Deploy planetary occupation forces. Drop fleets open. Thousands of invasion craft descended toward human colonies across the system. Mars, lunar cities, belt habitats, outer mining worlds. Targets selected for psychological impact. Crush the settlements. Earth would surrender. That was the theory. Mars received the first wave. Dominion troop. Carriers pierced the thin atmosphere under heavy escort. Firestorms from earlier orbital strikes still burned across the red deserts. Minimal defense detected. Landing command reported. Cities dark. Power grids low. No anti-air fire. Kerox approved surface assault. Take the cities intact. Labor assets inside. Drop ships landed in formation. Ramps opened. Heavy infantry advanced. And found silence. No defenders. No civilians. No panic. Just empty streets. Population fled. A field commander reported. We proceed with occupation. He stepped into the central transit plaza. The ground collapsed, not from explosives, from structural removal. Humans had hollowed the sublayers and replaced load supports with shaped charges triggered by mass signatures. Entire armor columns vanished into engineered sinkholes. Before rescue lines deployed, buildings detonated inward, not outward, channeling blast pressure down. Buried, efficient, pre-planned. City is trapped, the commander shouted. Withdraw to perimeter. Perimeter auto turrets rose from beneath road plates. Construction equipment converted. Nail drivers became armor-piercing guns. Survey lasers became cutting beams. Traffic drones became guided bombs. Everything built, repurposed. Dominion doctrine expected defenders with guns. Humans left systems with intent. Infrastructure fought. No heroics. No speeches. Just design. Mars command collapsed in under 2 hours. Not from battle. From environment. Europa landings went worse. Dominion forces targeted ice mining settlements. Easy targets. Low gravity. Scattered population. Perfect. They thought. Surface scans showed stable ice sheets. It was a lie. Humans had pre-fractured subsurface layers using thermal drills weeks earlier. Landing weight triggered delayed collapses. Entire regiments dropped into subglacial oceans. Freezing, dark, no recovery possible. Terrain is hostile. Dominion command transmitted. Correction, terrain was engineered. Asteroid belt operations became slaughter zones. Dominion troops captured mining stations easily. Too easily. No resistance. Command celebrated early success. Then, processors activated. Not for velocity. Mass drive arrays rotated and fired at near-light acceleration using store rock loads. Dominion ships exploded under fire from the stations they thought they captured. Deactivate the equipment, officers screamed. They couldn't. Controls were removed before evacuation. Machines had only one remaining function. Weapon mode. Dominion morale cracked. They are not defending, one officer said. They're designing. Yes, exactly. Earth remained untouched for now. Dominion Command prepared the final assault, but something bothered Verwin. Where are the civilians, he asked. Evacuated, intelligence replied. To where? No answer. Because humans didn't just evacuate. They dispersed. Mobile populations, hidden habitats, subsurface cities, ocean vaults. War planners called it continuity doctrine. Lose ground, keep people. Keep people, win war. Human counterboarding actions began next. Dominion ships reported internal attacks without docking signatures. Strike teams appeared inside secure decks. How? Captured teleport tech. Improved. Dominion invented it. Humans perfected it. That hurt more than losses. Strike teams targeted. Weapon controls. Navigation cores. Command relays. Never life support. Never civilian decks. Precision again. Message again. We can kill you. We choose not to. Psychological warfare. Clean. Dominion tech divisions panicked. They're using our systems better than we are. Correct. Because humans studied enemy tech like textbooks, not trophies. Captured Dominion shield emitters reappeared on human hulls. Modified. Stronger. Adaptive. Faster cycling. Reverse engineering cycle impossible in this time frame. Dominion science declared. Human science didn't ask permission from time frames. They brute force solutions. Parallelized research. War speed innovation. Battle length extended from days to months. Dominion expected surrender curves. Humans produced learning curves. Every engagement improved human performance metrics. Every Dominion tactic degraded in effectiveness. Predictability is fatal in adaptive war. Kerox reviewed campaign projections. Victory timelines dissolved. Resource burn exceeded conquest gain. That had never happened before. Verwin spoke carefully. We are losing strategically. We still hold space. Kerox snapped. Verwin answered. We do not hold initiative. More dangerous loss. Dominion attempted colony extermination strikes. Humans evacuated minutes before impact. Every time. How? Commanders demanded. Answer. Predictive targeting models. Humans knew which sites Dominion doctrine would prioritize. Because doctrine was published. Humans read. Dominion assumed no one studied them. Arrogance is an information leak. 6 months into the war, Dominion fleet strength dropped below half. Human fleet strength doubled. Production under fire. Adaptation under pressure. Rare. Terrifying. Verwin recorded a private assessment. They do not win by strength. They win by conversion, turning everything they touch into advantage. Kerox finally asked the forbidden question. What if we cannot win? No one answered, because the answer was already happening. And while Dominion forces bled across the solar system, human long-range units had already left it, quietly, heading somewhere unexpected. For 6 months, the Dominion believed the war had boundaries. They thought it lived inside the human system. They were wrong. Wars shaped by humans rarely stayed where they started. The first sign was not an attack. It was silence. Outer Dominion sensor relays began going dark, one by one, across 3 border sectors. No explosions recorded. No distress calls transmitted, just signal loss, routine failure at first, then pattern, relay chain degradation. Dominion network command suggested. Negative, analyst replied. Physical structures missing. Missing, not destroyed. Removed. That distinction mattered. Next came shipyard delays. Docking permissions scrambled. Navigation buoys recoded. Freight corridors misaligned by fractional degrees. Enough to cause collisions if not corrected. Logistics began to stumble. War machines starve faster than they bleed. General Verwin saw it immediately. They're not attacking territory, he told High Command. They're attacking process. No one liked that sentence, because it was true. Captured Dominion vessels had given humans more than technology. They gave them architecture, fleet routing logic, authentication chains, command hierarchy timing. Humans mapped the Empire like engineers map circuits. Then they started cutting wires. The first confirmed human presence inside Dominion core space was detected by accident. A maintenance drone recorded a reflection that shouldn't exist. Frame analysis showed a ship-shape distortion. Cloak field, better than Dominion cloaks. Impossible, except it was there. Panic rippled through defense ministries. How many? Kerox demanded. No count, intelligence replied. Then assume many, Verwin said. Correct assumption. Human infiltration doctrine avoided spectacle. No invasion fleet. No terror bombing. Instead, synchronized surgical entries. Special operations groups inserted via enhanced teleport systems derived from Dominion boarding tech. Range extended. Accuracy improved. Energy signature suppressed. They didn't land. They appeared. First targets. Defense grid coordinators. Orbital gun relays. Military AI cores. All disabled within 12 minutes across 4 worlds. No civilian networks touched. Message embedded in restraint. Dominion cities did not burn. Military headquarters went dark. Weapon factories powered down mid-cycle. Missile silos opened, emptied, resealed. Control without chaos. That was new. That was frightening. Admiral Crate, recovering, reassigned, received the report with disbelief. They're inside our perimeter without fleet engagement? Yes. Then perimeter doctrine is obsolete. No one argued. On the Dominion capital, sky shields fail for exactly 9 seconds. Just long enough. Human strike craft descended, invisible, landed on military-only sectors. Troops expected orbital war. They got hallway war. Short, quiet, decisive. General Staff Bunker 7 fell without a firefight. Doors opened. Weapons powered down remotely. Human commandos walked in like auditors. Took data cores. Left. Guards alive. Humiliated. Kerox roared for planetary counterstrike. Verwin stopped him. If you fire city-scale weapons, you kill your own people. Kerox hesitated. Humans had forced ethical friction into Dominion decisions. Another asymmetry. Broadcast hijack followed. Every military channel carried one human message. We are not here for your civilians. We are here for your war machine. No threat language. Operational language. That unnerved strategists most. Dominion citizens watched military fires burn with surgical boundaries. Hospitals untouched. Transit intact. Residential sectors stable. Conquest without cruelty. It contradicted every Dominion propaganda model of enemy behavior. Narrative collapse began. Kerox finally saw the real battlefield map. Human strike markers. Everywhere. Small. Precise. Strategic. Where's their fleet? He demanded. Verwin answered. Not needed. Dominion counter-teleport nets activated. Humans adapted in hours. Phase jitter timing. Insertion windows between scans. Every defensive patch generated a new exploit opportunity. Because static defense loses to adaptive offense. Always. Human cyber units rewrote Dominion alert priorities. Food riots flagged as high threat. Fleet breaches flagged as low. Response units misallocated for hours before detection. Non-kinetic warfare devastating. At last, direct contact. Kerox received a secure transmission override. Human general, older, steady gaze. fatigue line face. I am General Hale, the man said. Your war capability is neutralized at 63%. Karok snarled. You stand on my world. Yes. You threaten my throne. No. Pause. I'm offering you a choice. Dominion command rooms froze listening. Withdraw your remaining fleets. End expansion doctrine. Release subject worlds. Hale said. Or, we finish dismantling your military infrastructure. Not destroy. Dismantle. Word choice deliberate. You could not reach us, Karok said. We're already here, Hale replied, and cut the feed. Moments later, throne room tactical board updated. Human units confirmed inside 3 additional command vaults. Proof beats argument. Verwin spoke quietly. They didn't counterattack our empire. They audited it. No one liked that sentence either, because it was also true. Dominion fleet remnants returning from the human front arrive home to find firing solutions already painted on them. By cloaked human ships, 20 visible, dozens hidden, crate open channel. Same human captain from first battle. Consistency, psychological anchor. We can end this without extinction, she said. Dominion officers finally understood. Humans escalated capability, not cruelty, that made them more dangerous than conquerors. For the first time in Dominion history, surrender modeling simulations were opened, not publicly, but they existed now. And once a model exists, the future has changed. The Dominion prepared for annihilation. That was the only ending they understood. Empires fell in fire. Capitals burned. Rulers were executed. History had taught them that lesson, repeatedly, because they had written it into others. So when human forces stood inside their military districts, held their orbital guns offline, and surrounded their returning fleets, panic spread faster than any invasion. Civilian evacuation protocols? Ministers asked. Not required. Came the human broadcast. That confused everyone. Supreme Warlord Karox remained on his throne, armored, armed, defiant. Pride is often loudest when outcomes are gone. General Verwin stood beside him, exhausted but clear-eyed. You still have a choice, Verwin said quietly. I always have a choice, Karox growled. Yes, Verwin replied, just not a victory. The throne chamber lights shifted. Security feels disengaged without command input. Dominion guards raise weapons, and their weapons powered down. Not jammed, deauthorized, control layer override. Humans weren't breaking systems anymore. They were operating them. A human delegation entered. No heavy armor, no intimidation display. Just 3 officers. Centered among them, General Hale. Older, calm, tired eyes, battlefield posture. Not a conqueror's walk, a professional's walk. You stand in my war hall, Karok said. Hale nodded. You stood in ours first. No anger, just sequence. Why are you not bombing our cities? Karox demanded. Because cities are where your children live, Hale replied. Dominion officers shifted uneasily. That variable had never entered their war math. You defeated our fleets, Karox said. You penetrated our defenses. You hold our command grids. Yes, then claim your empire. No, that answer hit harder than threat. Hale activated a star map. Dominion territory appeared, then overlays, occupied subject worlds, extraction zones, forced labor systems. We're not here to replace your flag, Hale said. We're here to remove your war engine. Impossible! A Dominion minister snapped. War built our civilization. Hale looked at him. War nearly ended ours. Silence followed. Terms appeared. Not surrender, conversion. Withdraw from conquered worlds. Return populations. Dismantle forced labor infrastructure. Limit fleet production. Accept external monitors. Dominion leadership stared. This was not defeat language. It was reform language. They had never been offered that. And if we refuse? Karox asked. Hale answered evenly. Then we finish disabling your military capacity everywhere. Permanently. Not a threat. A forecast. You could kill me now, Karox said. Yes, Hale replied. Why don't you? Because killing leaders is easy. Changing systems is hard. That line would be quoted for centuries. Verwin stepped forward. Why help an enemy? He asked. Hale answered without pause. Because defeated enemies become future wars unless someone teaches them a better path. Dominion officers expected arrogance. They got responsibility. It destabilized resistance. Proof screens activated across the chamber. Captured Dominion worlds. Already liberated. Populations restored. Human aid teams assisting infrastructure restart. No occupation banners. No tribute collection. Only stabilization. You're repairing our damage, Verwin said. Yes. Why? Because civilians are not targets. Dominion doctrine did not have a category for that. Fleet Admiral Kraid appeared via secure hollow from orbit, surrounded by human targeting locks. I confirm, he said hoarsely, they could destroy us. They are choosing not to. Public admission from a war hero. Morale math flipped instantly. Karok sat back slowly. The war map behind him, once expanding, now contained, controlled, measured. He understood power. He recognized superior power. What he did not recognize, until now, was superior restraint. That frightened him more. What do you gain? He asked Hale. Fewer future wars. Hale said, that is not conquest profit. It is survival profit. Different civilization equation. Dominion political blocks fractured. Hardliners demanded martyr war. Civic ministers demanded survival. Military command, for the first time, sided with civilians, because they had seen the battlefield truth. Verwin knelt, not to humans, to reality. I recommend acceptance, he said. History pivoted on that sentence. Karox looked at Hale. If we accept, we live? Yes. If we comply, we remain sovereign? Yes. If we rebuild, you leave? Yes. Every answer immediate, prepared, truthful. And if we violate terms later? Karox asked. Hale met his gaze. We come back faster. No smile, no drama, just certainty. The surrender was not broadcast as surrender. It was recorded as Dominion Strategic Transition Accord. Language matters in healing. Humans understood that too. Weapons across Dominion space powered down in sequence. Fleet forges halted. Slave camps opened. Transport corridors reversed. For the first time in recorded Dominion history, expansion stopped. Galactic networks erupted. Shock, disbelief, recalculation. The undefeated empire had fallen, and still existed. That was new. That was human. Ambassador Cyril watched the Accord signing feed and whispered. They didn't just win. They rewrote victory. Hale's closing line to Dominion Command entered every military academy later. The goal of war is not to prove you can destroy. It's to prove you don't have to. The surrender of the Dominion should have ended the war. Instead, it started an argument across the galaxy. No one trusted mercy from a victor that strong. History had trained them not to. Emergency assembly convened again. Same chamber, same species, very different mood. Where once they debated expansion rights, now they debated human intent. They dismantled an empire in months, said one delegate. And didn't take it, said another. That makes them unpredictable. A third warned. Fear had changed direction. Ambassador Cyril returned to the central podium, this time not trembling. This is what I tried to warn you about, he said. Not their violence, their discipline. Evidence walls activated. Before and after maps. Dominion military nodes neutralized. Civilian centers intact. Subject worlds restored autonomy. No annexation flags. No tribute routes. No extraction fleets. This is not conquest behavior, Cyril said. This is intervention behavior. New category. No one liked new categories. They complicate control. Skeptic blocks demanded verification. Humans allowed inspections. Open access. That surprised everyone. Conquerors hide evidence. Protectors show it. Another pattern break. Inspection teams visited former Dominion slave worlds. They expected occupation garrisons. They found human medical camps. food distribution networks, engineering rebuild crews, mixed species teams, volunteer rotations, no forced labor, no cultural suppression. Why help them? One inspector asked a human medic. Because trauma spreads, she answered. We're stopping the next war early. Economic guilds noticed something else. Human patrol corridors became safest trade routes. Piracy dropped to near zero. Insurance markets recalculated risk tables. Premiums fell. Commerce followed safety. Trust often begins in spreadsheets. Still, not everyone was convinced. The Cartha Combined, former Dominion rival, issued a test. Border raid. Small. Provocative. They struck a restored Dominion world, expecting humans to overreact. Humans didn't. They responded precisely. 3 patrol ships arrived. Raid fleet disabled, not destroyed. Boarded, disarmed, released, with recorded warning. Measured force again. Pattern confirmed. Combined War Council reviewed footage. Why didn't they wipe them out? A commander asked. Because they weren't the real threat, an analyst replied. Escalation was. Humans fought escalation, not opponents. That was new warfare logic. Hard to counter. Former Dominion citizens reacted with confusion first, then caution, then curiosity. Human advisors arrived, not governors. Teachers, not rulers. Military academies converted into engineering institutes. Weapon factories retooled for infrastructure production. Conversion, not punishment. Recovery, not humiliation. Rebellion probability dropped below predictive thresholds. Analysts stunned. General Verwin, now transitional defense director, addressed his people. We built strength through fear. They defeated us through understanding. We rebuild through cooperation. That speech ended Dominion war culture faster than any bombing could have. Cultural exchange followed. Carefully, human historians shared their own violent past openly, not hidden, studied, acknowledged. We were you. One lecture series began that built bridges faster than superiority ever could. Galactic media coined a new term, protector power, not empire, not hegemon. Protector. Humans didn't invent the label. Others did. That made it stick. Military academies galaxy-wide added new required study. Human adaptive doctrine. Key principles taught. Expect enemy learning. Design for loss replacement. Weaponized logistics. Protect civilians to shorten wars. Study behavior, not hardware. Old generals resisted. Young officers didn't. History turnover accelerated. A second trust test came unexpectedly. A plague outbreak hit a fringe species, outside human patrol zones. No treaty obligation. No strategic value. Humans responded anyway. Hospital ships arrived in days. Quarantine nets deployed. Research shared openly. Millions saved. No territory claimed. Trust curve spiked. Assembly vote followed. Not unanimous, but overwhelming. Resolution passed. Human Defense Forces granted multi-sector emergency authority. Voluntary jurisdiction. Revocable. Transparent. Humans accepted, with audit clauses added themselves. That sealed credibility. Power that accepts oversight is feared less and trusted more. Ambassador Cyril met General Hale again, privately. You changed the balance of the galaxy, Cyril said. Hale shook his head. No, he replied. We changed the direction. Difference mattered. Balance can tip. Direction can guide. Are you always as restrained? Cyril asked. Hale answered after a pause. No. Then why now? Because we learned the cost when we weren't. Experience, not morality, forged restraint. More believable. Children across multiple worlds began playing a new strategy simulation, not empire building. Crisis rescue. Human faction chosen most. Cultural adoption complete. A final assembly inscription recorded the shift. Strength earns fear. Restraint earns allies. Attributed. Human doctrine. But at the outer dark, something else had been watching the entire war. Learning too. And it did not care about restraint. The galaxy believed the war was over. Humans did not. Because humans never built doctrine for the last war. only the next one. The first anomaly appeared beyond map trade lanes. A listening post went silent. Not destroyed, not jammed, erased, data history missing, as if it had never transmitted at all. Archive void, not signal loss. That detail mattered to human analysts. Not pirates, said Intelligence Director Hale. Not empires, said Fleet Marshal Torres. Pattern predators. Hale replied. Room temperature dropped. Outer sensor buoys began reporting impossible readings. Gravity distortions without mass. Thermal signatures below cosmic background. Movement without drives. Physics violations. Human threat libraries flagged a dormant category. Non-standard hostile civilization. Rare. Ancient. Documented only in classified border wars. Galactic Assembly requested clarification. Humans hesitated. Not from secrecy. From timing. Finally, Hale answered. There are regions we patrol that you don't know exist. Assembly murmured. Because, he continued, most civilizations aren't ready to survive what lives there. Proof released partial. Red zone maps. Quarantine perimeters. Lost civilizations recorded only by ruins. No conqueror signatures. Only absence patterns. They don't invade, Hale said. They harvest. Dominion Transitional Command requested threat briefing access. Granted. Verwin watched the footage in silence. Derelict megastructures. Drained biospheres. Intact cities empty. No blast damage. No war scars. Just removal. Population extraction? He asked. Yes. By whom? We don't use their name, Hale replied. Names attract attention. Not superstition. Operational protocol. Assembly panic began rising. Why were we not warned? Delegates demanded. Hale answered plainly. Because until now, you were safe behind natural barriers. And now, they moved. Long-range telescopes confirmed it. A dark lattice of objects crossing interstellar void, slow, coordinated, enormous. No broadcasts. No diplomacy. Just direction. Toward populated space. Fleet mobilization? Assembly asked. Human response surprised them. Evacuation mobilization first. Hale said. Not war first. People first. Doctrine revealed priority structure. Alliance fleets prepared interception lines using traditional doctrine. Humans rewrote the deployment plan in 1 hour. No border wall. Layered depth grid. Mobile rescue corridors. Fallback worlds pre-supplied. Why plan retreat? Some admirals protested. Because survival beats territory. Torres answered. Hard truth again. First contact battle was brief. Alliance Vanguard opened fire with full energy batteries. Enemy lattice absorbed it. No shields detected. No armor penetration. Just dissipation. They eat energy. Science teams realized. Energy weapon doctrine, invalid. Humans switched immediately. Kinetic batteries. Mass drivers. Relativistic rods. Enemy lattice fractured. Physics worked. Again, your weapons seem built for this, Verwin observed. They were, Hale said. Now the truth surfaced. Human war doctrine wasn't built for empires. It was built for predators. Historical archive unlocked. The perimeter wars. Decades-long hidden conflict. Human fleets holding outer dark against extraction civilizations. Losses classified. Victories uncelebrated. Because publicity attracts predators. You fought this alone? Cyril asked quietly. Yes. Why? Because someone had to. No hero speech. Just responsibility again. Enemy units adapted. They began targeting evacuation routes, not fleets. Smart, cruel, predictable to humans. Protect the exits, Hale ordered. Human ships repositioned instantly, shielding transports, sacrificing tactical advantage for civilian survival. Alliance commanders noticed. They copied. Doctrine spread. Battlefield difference became obvious. Alliance ships fought to win battles. Human ships fought to win outcomes. Not the same. Not even close. One human cruiser interposed itself between a predator mass beam and a refugee convoy. Impact vaporized the cruiser. Convoy survived. No hesitation recorded in command log. Choice, pre-made doctrinal. Loss expected. Lives prioritized. Verwin recorded the observation. They designed courage into procedure. Bravery institutionalized becomes reliable. That terrified strategists and inspired them. Enemy extraction ships shifted targets towards softer alliance worlds. Humans anticipated that too. Decoy population signatures deployed. Ghost cities broadcast life signs. Predators wasted cycles. Rescue time gained. War by misdirection. Why are you so prepared? A council delegate finally asked Hale directly. Hale answered, because we learned the worst enemy is the one that doesn't negotiate. And empires negotiate. Eventually, predators don't. Clarity delivered. Alliance morale stabilized. Not because threat was small, but because someone had fought it before. Experience transfers hope. Human command summary, distributed galaxy-wide. Rules for predator war. Save people first. Deny harvest efficiency. Break extraction logistics. Use mass, not energy. Expect adaptation. Plan replacement. Protect evacuation. Simple. Actionable. Effective. Assembly historians later wrote, we thought humans were dangerous because they understood war. We learned they were necessary because they understood extinction. Outer battles intensified. Losses heavy. Lines held because doctrine held. And doctrine held because humans built it for exactly this enemy. The last Predator ship died without an explosion. It simply collapsed inward, structure folding like burned paper, then vanished into gravitational dust. Silence spread across the battlefield. No victory cheers came over human channels. Only status checks. Only survivor counts. Only rescue confirmations. War, to humans, was not spectacle. It was accounting. Across Allied space, evacuation fleets began returning home. Convoys that had expected to wander for months found corridors secured. Defense grids rebuilt. Supply drops waiting. Human logistics ships had arrived ahead of schedule. Again, how? Alliance planners kept asking. Human answers stayed the same. We planned backward from worst case. Galactic Assembly reconvened under full quorum. First time since the crisis began. 47 species present. 12 new observer civilizations watching. Human delegation arrived last, not by rank, but by choice. They had been busy rebuilding 3 non-human worlds first. That detail was noted, repeated, recorded. Chancellor Cyril opened the session. Threat status? Fleet Marshal Torres answered. Predator advance halted. Outer perimeter restored. Mobile watch active. No triumph in tone. Only responsibility. Verwin of the Reformed Dominion stood next. Once Conqueror class. Now Reconstruction leader. His statement entered galactic record. We survive because humans fight wars differently than anyone else. He paused. They fight to end them. Evidence followed. Battle maps. Evacuation saves. Casualty ratios. Human fleet losses higher than Alliance average. Civilian losses lower. Correlation obvious. Choice obvious. Doctrine proven. Assembly analysts published a comparison. Empire doctrine. Protect territory first. Human doctrine. Protect people first. One preserves borders. The other preserves civilization. Only one survives extinction-level threats. A civilian transport captain addressed the assembly unexpectedly. Live relay. Her convoy survived because a human destroyer stayed behind to hold a corridor that could not be held. The ship did not return. Her last message replayed. Tell them we got through. No name. No speech. Just outcome. The chamber remained silent for a full minute. Resolution vote introduced. Motion. Recognize humanity as primary defensive power of Allied space. Vote passed unanimous. Even former rivals. Even skeptics. Trust earned under fire counts more than treaties. But another motion followed. More controversial. Motion. Classify human military capability as strategic deterrent tier 1. Translation. Most trusted. Most dangerous. Both true. Vote passed. Not all reactions were comfortable. Some delegates worried openly. If they can defeat predators and empires, What stops him from ruling everyone? Human Ambassador Hale answered directly, the same thing that stopped us from doing it yesterday. And what is that? Choice. Room quiet again. Proof mattered. Humans submitted open audit of occupied predator zone worlds. No annexations. No resource extraction. Only stabilization. Then withdrawal. Power in use becomes credibility. Rare. Convincing. Reconstruction phase revealed another difference. Human military engineers worked beside civilians. No separation caste. No superiority ritual. Tools shared. Training shared. Risk shared. Veruin recorded privately. They built allies the same way they built defenses, layered. Galactic universities requested access to human war doctrine libraries. Granted, partially. Sections on predator conflict released. Sections on internal civil wars, restricted. Some lessons are too expensive to export. Hale explained. No one argued. Tone alone carried weight. Memorial networks formed across species lines. Human losses honored on non-human worlds. Non-human losses honored on Earth. Shared mourning accelerates alliance bonding faster than shared victory. Anthropologists wrote entire papers on that phenomenon. Humans just called it respect. 3 months later, joint patrols began. Mixed crews, mixed command structures, mixed doctrine. Result, survivability increased 38%. Because unpredictability increases when minds differ. Humans encouraged it. Rigid doctrine breaks. Adaptive doctrine bends. A young delegate asked Hale during a public forum, "Why are humans so calm about existential war?" He answered without drama, "Because we already learned we're not guaranteed to win." Confidence built on uncertainty lasts longer. Final assembly verdict entered permanent record. Humanity is designated Guardian class ally. Engagement priority, cooperation. Conflict priority, avoidance. Strategic value, irreplaceable. Short version spread faster. Never fight humans. Stand with them. Former fear shifted categories. Not fear of conquest, fear of consequence. Humans did not escalate fast, but they escalated completely. Predictable restraint is the most powerful deterrent. Ambassador Cyril's closing address became the most quoted line of the era. Humans are feared because they can win wars. They are trusted because they know when not to. Dual reputation sealed. On Earth, no celebration parade happened. No victory day declared. Defense Command returned to perimeter patrol cycles. Training resumed. Doctrine updated again, incorporating predator adaptations. Preparation never paused. That detail disturbed and reassured the galaxy. Final exchange recorded between Veruin and Hale on the assembly steps. "You could rule the stars now," Veruin said. Hale shook his head. "Ruling is maintenance. Protecting is purpose." Difference understood. Historians would later define the era with one sentence: the day the galaxy stopped asking whether humans were dangerous and started hoping they were nearby.